This book right here got me back into reading. And the fact that my eSIM won't let me get on TikTok probably also helped. Not gonna lie. We're filming this on my laptop. I'm too lazy to get out a camera. It's the evening. There really isn't a good way to film in this room. I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. I was the kid who was hiding books under my desk and reading in science class and still somehow acing every test. Somewhere along the way, lost the plot. I'm gonna blame social media. Parents are right, it's that damn phone. I just like stopped reading after I graduated high school. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. And even in high school, I did read. I read Lord of the Rings. I willingly read some Michael Crichton's stories, but something fell off for me. I was actively writing fan fiction. I was still being creative. I was still consuming traditional-ish media. But then I graduated, and everything just went down the drain. Part of it was absolutely social media. It's that dang phone. Part of it was probably also the fact that I was just busy. One of my older videos on this channel, I think it was 2020, 2021, somewhere like early pandemic, I did a video about dark academia. Pandemic hits. I'm inspired. I'm like, dark academia speaks to me. And I'm gonna be honest, it still does. I still love scrolling through dark academia aesthetic mood boards on Pinterest. Like, it still speaks to me. And if I didn't live perpetually in either desert or tropical climates, swear I was supposed to move to London and live out my like author dreams. Instead I moved to New Zealand. Love it, but like I went from desert to tropical. And as someone who would love to dress in the kind of typical dark academia style, doesn't really work. Yeah, but when the pandemic first hit and lockdowns were enforced, I suddenly found myself with a lot of free time because I lost all my jobs and virtually dropped out of school. Didn't really, but like, I wanted a sense of understanding myself. I needed a sense of community. I feel like we were all that. You remember, hopefully. How old are you? And dark academia spoke to me because, again, I really do feel like then and now and all looking back on my entire life, light, dark, whatever, just the kind of academia aesthetic. It's kind of what speaks to me and has always spoke to me. And I feel like will forever speak to me. Do I permanently live that way? No. Would I like to? Yeah, but I'm not a rich, little English boy, so that's not happening. But I read again. During lockdown, because I wasn't working, I was reading. I was embracing that dark academic lifestyle as much as you can in 110 Fahrenheit heat. And then I went back to work. Then I went back to in-person school. And then I didn't read a book for like probably 2 years. That's a lie. I read one book over the course of 3 years. One whole book. Yeah, big accomplishment, I know. Then I ended up going to school in New Zealand, working part-time there. That was busy, a lot of fun, but I did find time to read a little bit. I did finish reading One Last Stop, which was the book that I basically took 2 years to read. I enjoyed it. It was my first time getting back into reading, and I liked it. And then I reread A Study in Scarlet, which, if you haven't seen my video essay on Mormonism in A Study in Scarlet, please watch that. And I reference, real quick, in that video, I reference an early edition of A Study in Scarlet that I'd left in California. This is it. I'm on my laptop, so it's hard to see what's happening, and the lighting is terrible because it's the evening. But 1896, Wardlock & Co., right? One of my prized possessions. Maybe I'll do a little tour of my bookshelf here. This isn't everything. I have a lot of stuff in New Zealand. I just got busy. I managed to finish reading One Last Stop. There was like a third of it left. And then I reread A Study in Scarlet for my essay. And that was kind of it. Then I graduated and my visa expired, and I was forced to move back to the US. Trust me, I am not here willingly. Regardless, I'm unemployed. I've been applying to jobs, but in this dinky ass little town, the only jobs there are is like landscaping and dental assistant. There is no in between. As a newly unemployed person, I have so much free time. And until literally yesterday, I've been here for today marks a month. I didn't have a car. And the great thing about the US is if you don't have a car, you're virtually under house arrest. So what did I do? I took advantage of the occasional trip, ended up in our local-ish secondhand bookstore owned by a lesbian couple. And what did I grab? Carmilla. Secondhand bookshop owned by a local lesbian couple. Yeah, I was gonna buy OG lesbian vampire story. No, I liked it. I liked Carmilla. Specifically, this is... well, obviously, Carmilla is by Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu. Fanu? I don't speak French. But this was edited specifically by Carmen Maria Machado. And I appreciate her footnotes. She is a lesbian, and she offers professional insight into queer subtext from the era. I really like this edition. Apparently, this edition was published in 2019. I forgot. My window broke. Anyway, that's there. This edition was published in 2019. The original novel, Carmilla, was published in 1872. And for a while, I was like, is this abridged? Because this is really short. No, she didn't abridge it. She just offers notations. It's short. This version is 141 pages. I don't know how many words Carmilla is, but I was looking on Storygraph, which, if you're on Goodreads, switch to Storygraph. Please. Please. Anyway. Yeah, I was looking at Storygraph at other editions, and they all range between 90 and 150 pages. Obviously, depending on page size, font size, margin size, da-da-da-da-da. So 90 to 150. It's 141. I have never read any other editions, but I really enjoyed this one. Keen to look at other editions and see what's different, but all in all, I feel like this was the perfect introductory book to get me back into reading. Because here's the thing, I am pretentious. I am pretentious. You just listened to me talk about how my whole life is best described with dark academia. I'm pretentious. I can acknowledge that. Do I like the occasional trashy romance novel? Yeah. There's a reason I'm an AO3, okay? Is it what I usually gravitate towards? No, I'm not gonna yuck your yum. If you like ACOTAR, hell yeah, brother. I don't. That's fine. If you do, hell yeah. Rating's rating. And that's I could do a whole video essay on that, is like the idea of, well, all you read is face smut, and book talk is ruining everything. That's besides the point. I am pretentious. I know that. I'm not gonna be an asshole and be like, well, if you don't read the classics, then you're a moron. Again, I'm not some rich little British boy. I'm not gonna be like that, okay? I'm a fucking American lesbian. I don't give a shit. Personally, I tend to gravitate towards classics, as a general rule of thumb. Again, we're on my laptop, so the quality's horrible. You have eyes, you can see that. But I have an entire shelf dedicated to Sherlock Holmes. In case the fact that I did an entire over an hour-long video essay on Sherlock Holmes, in case that didn't make it obvious, I like Sherlock Holmes. In case you're unaware, classics can be hard to read because they are classic, meaning they're old, meaning it uses old language, which is hard on brain. Having just finished 2 years at university, and having been working multiple jobs for ever since I turned 18, but when's the last time I didn't do anything? When's the last time I was unemployed? High school. But then I was like in school. So when's the last time I was unemployed and not going to school? Never. All of this to say, classics are hard, typically. I like classics. But brain no work after so much school and job. So where do I go from there? 141 pages, couple of illustrations, lesbian vampires from 1872. Duh, that's where we go. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know why I'm making this video. But I really recommend Carmilla. If you are if you're an avid reader, but you've never really gotten into the classics, this would be a great beginner book. And it doesn't have to be this edition, I just recommend it because she offers queer insight. But Carmilla's short, it's a pretty easy read, given the language. And it's vampires. Vampires are cool. And like, obviously they don't say they're lesbians, but like, they're kissing. They are kissing, and I won't show it on YouTube, but there are illustrations in this book, and there's like titty out. There are lesbians and lesbian acts happening in this book. I guess a minor spoiler if you haven't read Carmilla, but there is a scene where our main character, Laura, our narrator, is having really confused feelings. She's really confused about what's going on because she's basically describing, I have feelings for this girl, for Carmilla, but like, she can't comprehend gayness because she's like isolated in the 1870s. So she basically is like, she considers the idea that Carmilla might be a man disguised as a woman, and that's why she's having weird feelings, because it's like impossible to have feelings for a woman. So obviously she's having weird feelings because Carmilla's actually a man. Like, it's so anyway, that's a little funny little tidbit from this book. If you've never read the classics and you want to get into it, highly recommend Carmilla. If you are really into the classics, but it's been years since you've read anything, or you're just like, brain has atrophied, Carmilla would be a great way to get back into it. That's what happened to me. I really enjoyed it. Not a long read. I read it in exactly a week, and I could have read it way faster. Honestly, you could read this in a day. If you were dedicated, you could read this in a day. Don't know the word count, but it's short for a classic. And it predates Dracula. So, suck it, Dracula fans. Lesbians were the original. Typical. Lesbians got there first, then men were like, what if we did that too? If I see one more heterosexual man with a carabiner clip on his jeans, oh, he better be rock climbing. He better be rock climbing, or else I'm gonna get real mad. All this to say, recommend it. Please read it. Hashtag not sponsored because it was written in 1872. I would like to upload more. I have a few ideas for video essays, but I think I might just start casual on my laptop. Maybe I'll do something with a little better lighting, but we'll see. Anyway, that's where I am. Thanks for listening to me yap. If you were on your phone this whole time and just listening like a podcast, that's fine. The quality's shit. It's perfectly acceptable. You don't have to look at me with this fuzzy, what is this, like 360? I don't even know. Not even 1080, honestly. But yeah, highly recommend Carmilla by Joseph Sheridan Lefanu. Lefanu? I don't speak French. I grew up in California. ¿Yo hablo español? No.